Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together.
Hey, wildly ambitious leader. Welcome back to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast. I'm so excited to be joined here today with three of my best friends that you have heard on the podcast previously. We've got Johanne from Ireland. We got Mel, who's now in Arizona, and my Canadian buddy, Brandee, who is on the other side of Canada. Carol is out right now. She has a new grandbaby, and so is taking some time off with her grandbaby. But the four of us got together last Friday to celebrate International Women's Day, Global Sisterhood, and created a beautiful opportunity to bring women together from around the world to create a warm hug of celebration, connection, and empowerment. So I've asked them to share a little bit, why this event is so important and why we got together for now our second annual event to bring this event to women and really stand for being a woman and the gift that it really brings to the world and to the people in our lives of being able to own and embody the womanhood. So why don't we start with Brandee, if you want to do a quick introduction and just share why this day is so special for you.
Thank you, Alex. What an honor to be here with my sisters. I am a women's empowerment coach, a yogini for life, an astrologer, and a fierce stand for the feminine. And this event, I love the name of it. It's called A Warm Hug of Celebration. The meaning to me is the sense of belonging, connected, and unified. Together we stand, really honoring each other in the sacred journey of womanhood.
Beautiful. Thanks, Brandee. And Mel, over to you.
Alex, thank you so much. What an honor to be able to celebrate International Women's Day with my favorite besties here. This day is so important to me because for so long I didn't accept the fact that I was born in a woman's body. I had a lot of resistance to being a woman and was very masculine. And just the opportunity to have each of you in my life teaching me how to receive and really embody that, just the full acceptance of who I am and being able to just love unconditionally and the sisterhood we have, that's why it's so important.
Beautiful, Mel. Thank you. And Johanne.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, ladies. So I'm Johanne O'Halleron, and I'm a business mentor, but I'm also a mum and a grandmother. And for a long time, I was a single mum, and I came from a single parent household. So for me, this day is, it's more than empowerment and celebration. It's actually been able to use our voice as women and, not have it kept down, that we get to be whoever we get to be and to be in community with each other and to create the bond that gets to ripple out beyond just us.
Beautiful, Johanne. Thank you so much. So you will now get to take a listen to our event, and any resources that we shared on the event will be in the podcast show notes. And stay tuned to our episode next week because we're going to have Brandee on, who is going to talk about being a woman and being turned on by our bodies. So I'm excited to have her here. So enjoy today's episode, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Let's go. So I'm Brandee Safran, and I'm delighted to be with each and every one of you on this really special moment in time. So all of March is really a celebration of women's history and how far we've come, and really grounding into this moment, this sacred moment. And really, I appreciate and honor each and every one of you that are listening to us, that are here and present, and that are celebrating global sisterhood. And I'm here today with my sisters, with my besties, Johanne, Mel, and Alex. We meet on a regular weekly basis. We support each other through it all. And we really stand for this energy of the rising of the feminine, of women coming together to collaborate, to celebrate, and to work together, to lift each other up. And we're really here today to have this experience of just coming together, just the celebration of what does it mean to be a woman in these days and how far you have come in your lineage and line of being a woman. And I am an astrologer. I'm a yoga therapist and a life coach. So I'm always going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the sky. So we so happen to be on it under the Cancer moon today. And what I want to share is that the moon is always happy to be in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and a Cancer moon is a nourishing moon. It is an emotional moon. It is the mother of all moons. It's this energy of coming home to safety within ourselves, safety within ourselves. And so we're gathering today as well with the energy of sisterhood and also for the energy of those that are unsafe at this time, those that do not have safety in their lives. And we are raising funds for the Underground Railway. We could put the link in the chat. Any donation will support this cause of human trafficking. And we are really standing for everyone to be free, for everyone to feel safe. And in the world that we live in, we're living in turmoil times where we are scared, where also women, right now, are we going backwards? Are we going forwards? What is happening? There's a lot of uncertainty. So we're here today to work on finding a place within only ourselves that we can remain safe and within the context of sisterhood, where we feel connected, where we are not alone. And we're going to begin the practice today by first giving ourselves a hug. As simple as that. So the way we're going to do it, I'm going to actually teach you this one. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to tuck them underneath our armpits where it's nice and warm and cozy. Feel that. And then we're going to take a moment and we're going to just squeeze ourselves where the hands meet the sides of the body. Give yourself a little squeeze. And take a moment to arrive in the here and now, in your body. Giving yourself a nice, juicy, delicious hug. And allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. So the Cancer moon is an emotional moon. Sometimes it's a very protective moon. And so we're just here right now, allowing all to arrive, to invite yourself into this place of belonging, in the place of safety within yourself. And then when we are ready, we're going to take a moment to release the hug. And we're going to take our fingers and twinkle them. And we're going to spread that energy of warmth and light all around us and out into the atmosphere. So you could just take a moment, imagine all beings being free, all beings being safe, all beings feeling this energy of warmth, safety, love, and belonging, and sending that out. And we are the source of that. So when one feels safe within themselves, we could stand for that for others. And it always begins with us. It always begins with us. It doesn't begin with anyone else. So we can begin by providing that safety within ourselves, that sense of belonging. And I wanted to share an exercise that I learned from Martha Beck, and Bonnie, who's on the call, was there as well. And I love this exercise. It was in a workshop that she did with us. And it's an exercise of really arriving into a very sweet moment. So I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time in my mind. Do you guys spend a lot of time thinking, worried, analyzing? What else? Let me know. Put it in the chat. What else goes on inside of the mind? Just how much time do we actually spend just in that space of worry, anxiety, control, not knowing the outcome, trying to control the outcome. I mean, the mind is this like wild place, making stuff up. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I totally relate. Making stuff up, assuming. Yeah, that's a good one too, right? We're assuming something. And our mind, if we don't tame it, like it's just could take us on this crazy place. And we start believing every thought that comes into our head, right? Like, oh my God, that's true, that's true, that's true. Is it really true? Is it really true? So a great way to really work with this wild thing called our thoughts and our minds is by tuning into the sensations of the body. And within the sensations of the body, we can welcome ourselves back home to ourselves and to a state of regulation, a regulated nervous system state. And boy, do we all need this, right? So we're going to do an experience of waking up to the senses of the body. So I'm going to invite you to take out a pen and paper. And if you're driving, then you could just play with your imagination. And we're going to do a little exercise exploring the senses of the body. And before we do that exercise, I want you to think of one crazy thought that you've thought in the past few minutes. Some negative thing, that's sort of still there, maybe feeling ungrounded, chaotic, like whatever it is for you. We all have them, right? One crazy thought. So think of that one crazy thought and think of the impact it has on you. And we're going to push it aside for now. Take out your pen and paper. And we're going to start off by an exploration of the senses. I want you guys to write down 3 things that you love to taste. And you could just put that on your paper. 3 things you love to hear. 3 things you love to see with your eyes. 3 things you love to smell with your nose. 3 things you love to touch or feel against your skin. So you guys complete with that? So let's take a moment right now. Close your eyes. And we're going to go through the list really quickly. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take a moment and feel all of those things that you love to hear. All of the same thing, all the things you love to see, all the things you love to smell, all the things you love to feel against your skin. Take a moment and feel them all at the same time. Everything. You're in this moment with all of these sensations in your body. Everything alive. Everything at the exact same time. And then just slowly open your eyes. And I just want you to write a little paragraph, putting all of that together, like that perfect scene, that perfect moment. Where are you? What are you eating? What are you smelling? What do you have against your skin? Take a moment and put that perfect moment of that central, delicious experience together. I'm sitting in my chair and I'm wrapped in cream and hot water, like whatever it is, the fireplace is blazing. Write that perfect moment, that scene that is happening for you. Bring it to life. Put it all together in one paragraph. So I'd love to hear what came up for you physically or emotionally. What is the experience when you're bringing all of that together? Did something open up for you? And where are you with that anxious thought that we started off with? Is it gone? Gone? Oof. Right.
What anxious thought?
What anxious thought? Yeah. So Mel, what were some of the physical or emotional sensations that you experienced after that?
The first thing that came was like putting it all together. When I was combining it all, the more I kept adding in, like all that just kept happening was like pure ecstasy, right? Like that was the thing that came over me. Was I couldn't even like add anymore because it was just this pure ecstasy. But really, for all trying to combine it all, but there was so much. Like sitting on a mountain. I love like dark chocolate, anything salty, dark chocolate, and I love like creamy. So it's like literally sitting on a mountain, eating dark chocolate sea salted caramels with my little glass of heavy cream, listening to the birds. The sun is beaming on me, the wind is blowing, praising God, surrounded by all the wildflowers right after the spring rains have come through, and literally feeling the hug of God around me like a soft blanket.
Oh man, it's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So, that is how powerful our minds are, right? Like we could bring ourselves from that wild thought that's taking us into this dangerous territory of our minds and bring it into the body, bring it into things that we love, bring it into the embrace, like you said, of that warm hug, Mel, and be in the full embrace of that experience. And now that we know that we can create and we have that paragraph, we could bring it back. We could bring it back. Hold on. Let me take a moment. And we all have moments, right, where we're feeling unsafe or in a state of fear. And imagine in that moment, you just bring yourself into that full body sensation. This is a practice that we could continue doing on a daily basis. How powerful we are that we could invite in these images and know what could anchor us into safety. Like that's it. We are, once we feel safe within ourselves, we could access that and invite others to feel safety. If we are feeling unsafe, if we are feeling nervous or anxious, that's what we show up in the world with. But if we could take a moment and understand the power that this brings us of coming home into our bodies, into who we are and what lights us up, what calms us, and what is pleasing to us, and how we could use this so many times, right? When you're in, like, I know if we're scared of something, okay, let's bring in the image that lights us up. So thank you guys so much for playing along with me. And you could go back to this exercise. You could work with it on a daily basis. Just take that couple of moments of like really tapping into all the senses, bringing them into the present moment, and share them with a sister, share them with somebody, give this gift away. And I'm going to pass the baton over to Joanne.
Thanks, Brandee. Hi, ladies. How are you all? Hey, Lisa. I love your jumper, by the way. It's fab. So for those of you that don't know me, obviously I'm the Irish one. I stand out a mile. And I'm a business coach, but outside of that, I'm a mum and I'm a grandmother. And we ran this event last year, and I think there was one beautiful theme that came out, which was a safe space for women to be able to celebrate themselves. And what we see as coaches, and you know, for you ladies here as well, you might really notice how you're able to see the gifts in other people. Like you can look at somebody and like another woman and go, this is what you're amazing at. I appreciate you for this. You can celebrate somebody else's gifts, but how often do you celebrate them within yourself? Put a me in the chat if you actively celebrate yourself every single solitary day. And put a not me if you don't celebrate yourself every day. No, not me. Nope. 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 Right. Because what have we been taught growing up? Like if I can even take my own experience, like I can even hear my mom saying, some of you may know, I was featured on a billboard in Times Square, and this was like mind blowing to me. I still remember I was sitting on the couch. I had literally a onesie on me, did not look like, was not dressed up for somebody that should be on a billboard in Times Square. And I just remember being like, oh my goodness, this is like insane, right? Like from a girl from Ireland who is now on a billboard in Times Square because I shared my story about being a single mom, coming from a single parent home, and how my story really impacted other women. But yet when I shared it with my mom, she was like, oh, don't tell anybody else that. You don't want to be bragging about that. And I'm like, this is the stuff that gets to stop right around the world, and it gets to start with us. And we are the ones that are going to leave the legacy for ourselves, leave the legacy for our kids, our grandkids, that you get to be proud of all your achievements. But not only that, you get to be proud of who you are. Because who we are is what's inside of here. It's not actually the accomplishments that we have, but it's who we are at our very, very core. So with that, I want each of us to actually sit here and celebrate each other. So I'd love for each of you to put into the chat, what is one thing that you are so proud of yourself for, that you really celebrate yourself for? Doesn't matter what it is. It could be something physical. It could be an accomplishment. It could be something inside of you, like your heart, how you love your kids. But I want you to take this moment right now and acknowledge yourself for one thing. Are these all beautiful gifts that you have, and that you're able to say, I'm really proud of myself for this? And you can see the impact it has not only in yourself, but for other people too. So what I'm going to share now, Alex, would you mind dropping the link into the chat for me, please, if that's okay? Alex, or sorry, Brandee, love in giving and receiving it. Yeah. So I would love if you're able to open this. Now you're going to have to make a copy of it to edit it, but I'm also going to share my screen. Brandee, you're going to have to stop sharing your sound, okay? So can each of you see this? This is a poem that has been specially curated for you. And the piece that Alex has dropped into the chat, you can actually edit it, because my intention with this is that this is a poem specific to you, and that you get to look and read, you get to look at this every day and read this every day and remind yourself how amazing you are, and also the impact that you have, not only for yourself and for your kids, but on the rest of the world too. So I would love for you to take a couple of minutes and actually fill it in. Like take this time now to celebrate yourself and to fill it in. You're welcome, Bonnie. I'm going to read it out, okay, so that we all get to do it. So it's called I Am. So I am, whatever your name is, so Joanne, and I stand in my light, a force of love, bold and bright. I walk with strength, I rise with grace. A radiant soul, time cannot erase. I bring whatever gift you bring, a gift so true, a spark of magic in all I do. With another gift, so it gets to be different to the first one, I shine so free, a light the world is blessed to see. I honor my voice, I honor my way. I bloom with power every day. with kindness, joy, and love untamed. I step in fully, unashamed. I am enough. I am divine. A masterpiece, body, soul, and mind. The world is brighter. That's the truth, because it holds the light of and enter your name. Oh, Lisa, I love you. This is a gift that you get to love upon yourself and really embody it. Because it isn't just about saying, the things that you're proud of yourself for. Every single one of you have something you have a really special gift. There's something that shines really, really brightly within you that nobody else has. And you get to honor that and be completely unapologetic about it. Be unashamed about it and embrace it. I would love for each of you just to make a lovely commitment to yourself so that you get to be acknowledged and celebrated every day. Put a me in the chat if you're going to print this out and put it somewhere that you can see it, so that even if you don't say it every day, you will look at it to remind yourself of the gifts that you have. Okay, that was a big meal. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you for that, ladies. Thank you for that. I'm glad that we got to be able to share that with you and that you get a lovely gift to be able to take away. So now I'm going to pass the baton.
Well, thanks, Joanne. Thanks, Brandee. This has been so amazing, so beautiful. So love having all of you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a yes to you, to showing up for you as a woman and being here with us to celebrate you, and just excited to be here with each and every one of you. For those of you that don't know me, I am Mel Mason, the clutter expert, and ultimately helping you clear anything that gets in the way of you thriving in every area of your life. So whatever's in the way, that's my specialty. But today we're talking about embracing our femininity. And I want to share just a powerful story and just a vulnerable share today, because for me, embodying femininity has been a struggle for a lot of years. But before I dive in, just if you're not on camera, you can raise your little virtual hand or put a me in the chat. But has anybody here ever struggled with feeling like they weren't woman enough, or they were too much in some way, right? Someone tells you you're too much or you're not woman enough. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I was always too much. And I grew up a tomboy, right? I was definitely not the idea of feminine. And I always felt out of place in, makeup and dresses and all of those things. Like I had this short period of my life where I tried to do it. And I remember back in the 80s with like the wallow bangs, right? Like the hairspray, Aquanet, like had the makeup. But I just I didn't fit in. Like I being a tomboy, I'm like climbing in trees and having crabapple fights and, making fires and things like that. So really a dress didn't fit. Like I'd run down the street in a dress and be flashing everybody. It doesn't really work, right? Just not a good thing. And I never I always wanted to feel ready to have fun, but also I always needed to feel ready to defend and protect myself, because growing up, I had been violated. I had multiple sexual traumas in my life and had been violated. So I needed to protect myself. And so being in a dress was not something that I felt safe in. Now, I can't say that I want to wear a dress today. It's not my thing, but that's just not who I am. But it doesn't make me any less of a woman. And growing up, I always felt like one of the guys. Because I was a tomboy and because I didn't trust anybody in my life. I mean, my mom abandoned me when I was a kid. I felt closer to my dad. I didn't actually grow up hanging out with women. It wasn't until I met these ladies a few years ago that I'm here with that are my besties that I really actually started letting women in. And I always was just one of the guys because I was a tomboy. I was very masculine. I related to guys more. And in school, like all the popular girls would like pick on me and rejected me. So I didn't grow up with a lot of women friends. And so it wasn't until a few years ago that I let these ladies in, and it's been absolute magic for me to be in this place where I can trust women. But there was also this belief that being a woman meant you had to look a certain way. So for a really long time, when I was younger, I had long hair, but it wasn't me. I wound up cutting my hair. And when that happened, it was like, because I was such a tomboy, when I cut my hair, it was actually really traumatizing because it was like the one thing that identified me as female. And I feel like I lost that. And I started getting chased out of women's restrooms. Has anybody here ever been chased out of a women's restroom? Like, I got mistaken for a boy all the time. Women would walk into the restroom and they would look at the bathroom door and they would see me washing my hands in the sink and they would turn around and walk out because they thought they were in the wrong bathroom. I actually had a woman chase me out of a restaurant to come ask me why I was in the women's restroom one time. I was like, because I'm a woman, right? And so I really struggled with self-acceptance. I didn't identify as a woman. I didn't, especially now that I go by the name of Mel, like growing up, my name is actually Melinda, but my mom named me Mindy. And then I embodied Melinda for a little while and it didn't fit. And then I took on the name Mel in like 2004. And that just feels like who I am. But I had such like deep struggles with accepting myself and with the trauma that I went through in my life, that I had so much self-hatred that I would take it out on myself. I don't know if anybody here can ever relate to actually self-harming, like cutting yourself, things like that. Like I had so much trauma and self-hatred that I would take razor blades to my body. Like I didn't accept myself. I didn't love myself. But a few years ago, I went through these alcohol to numb out, Brandee. Absolutely. Yeah. And Alex, your name. Yeah. It gets me. You talk to someone on the phone, they automatically think you're a guy, right? Yeah, totally get that. I just had someone tell me I still come off really masculine the other day at a church service. I was like, that's interesting just because of my name. But that's really interesting. But I went through a leadership training a few years ago, and that was when I made a decision to stop running from myself. I was running from myself. I wasn't willing to embody who I was. I hated the color pink. Like I had so much resistance to the color pink. It didn't make any sense. Like you would not catch me dead in the color pink. But I decided to make the decision that I would accept myself for who I am, imperfections and all, and learn to really embrace who I was. And through the gift of these ladies that I'm with, they have all helped me see that beauty in myself, and really embracing my authenticity has brought freedom into my life. I love myself today for who I am and who I'm becoming, because it's a never ending journey. And today I realized that femininity isn't about like how we dress or different colors. I used to get so pissed that pink was for girls and blue was for boys. Why couldn't blue be for girls too? Because blue's my favorite color. Now, I like pink and I look good in pink, and I've accepted it today. I let myself wear pink and I don't have the resistance anymore because I was willing to look at that resistance, because if we resist something, there's really something underneath it, right? But I was really willing to look at it and embrace it. And now I love the color pink. Now, I'm not going to wear dresses because I'll wear a pantsuit, but I'm not going to wear dresses because I'm going to run down the street and then I like to run. So I don't want to be flashing everybody, right? Just got to be ready to climb a tree at all times. But really, like what femininity and embodying femininity is just about the power, the grace, and the strength within us and within me. And what I've really learned through being in relationship with my besties here is the greatest gift of being feminine is learning how to receive support. for me, receiving support and being open to support was something I would never do. I didn't trust anybody. I wasn't going to let you in. I wasn't going to receive anything for you. I'd give and support and be in contribution, but me receiving, like, that wouldn't happen. And so through being willing to accept myself for who I am and having these ladies in my life, I learned how to receive. I learned how to be open. I learned how to be vulnerable and share about the struggles that I was going through. And now the majority of my friends are women. It's the strangest period of my life, but almost all of my friends now are women that I hang out with, which I never thought that would happen. And the other thing about being a woman, it's not about trying to fit into this mold that society says we're supposed to be. You should wear dresses and you should wear makeup. Like, I'm not a makeup person. Like, if I need to put it on for an interview or something like that, I will, but I don't like putting stuff on my face. I don't like putting chemicals on my face, and it's a lot of work. So it's not about this mold that I have to fit into or that you need to fit into. It's about standing in your truth of who you are, right? And so it's about femininity. It's about power and intuition and love. And ultimately, self-acceptance, accepting yourself for who you are, exactly as you are, and who you're becoming is the greatest gift that you can give yourself in the world. Because when you accept yourself, you show others that it's okay to accept themselves. And especially if you have young daughters, you're leading the way. And the more that we can be in a state of accepting ourselves, the less that we're going to fall and mold and conform to what society says we should be. So some thoughts I want to, just have you ponder on. You're not going to write on these, but I just want to put these out there. But what if today was the day that you stopped trying to fit into the mold and just let yourself be? Like, what if today was that day where you just stopped trying to fit in and you just accepted yourself for exactly as who you are? And what if you gave yourself permission to be fully and unapologetically you? So I want to invite you, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. And if you're driving, at least keep one hand on the wheel. But I just want to invite you to just put your hand over your heart and take a nice deep breath in and just repeat after me. I am enough, just as I am. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. One more time. I am enough, just as I am. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. Thank you. And so what I want to end with is I want to take shares from some of you. I want to hear I would love to hear from people who haven't shared yet, but please share. I want to hear from you. And I want you to celebrate and acknowledge yourself. What is one thing? And if you don't feel comfortable sharing out loud, type it in the chat, like, just so you're participating and you're acknowledging yourself. What is one thing that you love about yourself as a woman? And how can you celebrate that more? What is one thing that you love about yourself as a woman, and how can you celebrate that more? All right, who's sharing first? Because I love to hear from Miss Brandee. Yes.
So I really love to lie on the side of my body naked and to take my hand and to rub my hand along my waist and my hip. And I find that that area of the body is so powerfully feminine, and that curve of that hip, like, it reminds me of the poet Maya Angelou, where she states phenomenal woman. And it's an empowerment of having that curvature and beauty of that hip of the bowl where I've housed my children, when I've honored my sexuality, where I could feel my feminine body and celebrate it.
Oh, that's beautiful, Brandee. I love that. I remember growing up, I had the boy body for the longest time. I had no hips, I had no boobs, I had I was just boy body. And then at some point in my life, like I got hips. It was like the hardest thing to accept at first. It was like, oh my gosh, like I kind of just want my boy body back. But like it took me a long time to accept all of me. But that was definitely powerful. So thank you, Brandee. Thank you for sharing. Who's next? What's one thing you love about yourself as a woman, and how can you celebrate that more? I want to hear from you. Who's next? Miss Brandee.
Yeah, I just wanted to tie in a little astrology piece here, if I may, because it's just really so potent to what you're sharing and inviting us all to reflect on, Mel, is that Venus is in retrograde, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. And exactly like Lisa just said, making things more beautiful. So when a planet goes in retrograde, it's a revision time. We get to revisit, exactly like you're inviting us to explore, Mel, what brings us pleasure, what makes us feel feminine, what lights up our fire, what turns us on. And it's not about the exterior, but the internal, like you're inviting us. This is happening from March 1st until April 12th. So it's your opportunity right now to really, all of us as women, to dive in to that exploration like you invited us into.
Beautiful. She goes forward the day before my birthday. Yeah. Oh, I acknowledge each and every one of you for being here, for being willing to just embody and embrace your femininity, that you are a woman. And I am going to pass the baton to beautiful Alex. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here and celebrating and acknowledging yourself.
Thank you, Mel. And yes, thank you everybody for your vulnerable shares and just being authentic and open and honest and really acknowledging yourself for the woman that you are. It's funny when, I already know what I want, the activity I get to present with you today. And as Mel and Brandee were speaking, I got reminded about the word woman. And the word woman was something that actually made me feel really uncomfortable. So like Mel, I was also a tomboy, and I wore Adidas tracksuits up until I went to high school because I guess it's just like that life transition. You go to high school and, there's that wanting to fit in and all of those things. But I was very much like Mel, right? Tomboy, even though I always had long hair. That is the one thing that was my thing. Like my long hair, I've always had long hair, but I always wore it back in a ponytail. I think that was maybe my one thing of like the femininity. But yeah, I always remember tomboy, always friends with guys. My name is Alex. So I would never forget showing up to summer camp one time and being told that I wasn't enrolled in summer camp. And my mom's like, what are you talking about? I've like got the confirmation right here. And they looked over at the boys' cabin and I was enrolled in the boys' cabin. And I have countless amount of stories from being in class and having my name in the cloakroom on the boys' side to needing to change my flights because they put it as Mr. Alex Carter. And actually it recently, happened to me, very oftentimes with my international students, because I do teach business technology online, Mr. Carter. And so I still to this day do get that a lot. And so something that I've added onto my name is Alex Leanne Carter to create that femininity and bring in the femininity. But that woman term was always something up until very recently that I really had a hard time seeing myself as a woman. And so being able to enter in that femininity. And I just love this theme of here today. And for those of you that don't know me, so I am Alex Leanne Carter. I'm a master's certified neuro coach. And part of what I love to do is always looking at patterns and the ways that our brains like to keep us safe and the way that we take our past experiences, right? And they will dictate, they will influence how we show up today because our brains can only really see our past experiences. And I'm all about standing for your visions and what you're up to creating and creating the powerful woman that you are and being able to have that released. And so something that's a very powerful tool, and I love how some of the exercises we've walked you through today is going to ties all together, is really knowing who you are, right? As even Mel was saying before, like really giving yourself permission to be unstoppable, to be unapologetic, to be who you truly are. And one really easy way of doing this is having something called an I am statement. And having an I am statement that really states who you be as a woman. Our brains operate, with the negativity bias. And we often always hear the things that we're not, right? I am not this, I'm not that, or I am all of these things, right? Just like Joanne's story earlier, when her mom was like, oh, Joanne, don't tell anybody, right? Don't let people know, right? This is the safety mechanism for her mom to stay safe, because what will it mean if Joanne is seen, if Joanne is heard, right? So her mom wants to protect her, because our brains have these, so our home basis of wanting to feel seen, wanting to feel safe and secure, wanting to be felt lovable and accepted, and wanting to feel enough and worthy. And in any moment in time, if our brain notices it's always scanning our environment, that any of this would be at risk, it's always going to go to safety. Unfortunately, safety doesn't always equate to what we want. It doesn't always equate to being that unleashed and unstoppable woman. It doesn't equate to being that irresistible, bold leader, that empowered woman that is making an impact and difference as we move forward. And so the power of this I am statement, when you can ground yourself in your I am statement, and I love, because Joanne's poem for you today integrated a lot of that, is that when you can state, I am this, you are declaring to the universe, you're telling your brain as well, like, I am this person. And then you're activating the reticular activating system, which is going to allow your brain to look for evidence to support that. Now, another reason why I'm really passionate about the I am statements is it's a gift. And I got to experience how it was a gift a few months ago. The power of an I am statement, it supports you. If you're in difficult moments in life, and I found myself at the hospital a few months ago with my daughter, and it was scary, right? And again, our brains are going to look for safety. And it was overwhelming. It was scary. My brain was just going, flooded with all these emotions and all of these beliefs, and going to the worst case scenario, right? Like just how we started today's event. Our brain wants to think of something that's not serving us. And that's what my brain was doing. But because of my I am statement, I kept repeating it over and over and over again. I'm a confident, connected, courageous woman. I'm a confident, connected, courageous woman. I am confident. And so I felt I got to be confident so my daughter doesn't get scared. I'm connected. I'm talking to the doctors and the nurses, and I'm creating connection. And I'm courageous. I'm courageous being where being here and staying strong for my daughter. And, because I don't know how many of you have been to a children's hospital before, but it's quite, it's a beautiful and a very emotional experience, witnessing and experiencing, those children that are being healed, but also those children that are in the hospital who are sick. And so this statement, saved me that day from, falling apart, right? And it was such a beautiful gift. I mean, and I've had my I am statement for years now, but in that moment, I didn't know what to do. And again, my brain was looking for safety. My I am statement was my safety in that moment. And that's the gift that we want to give here for you today, is for you to have that statement, that I am statement, the statement that defines exactly who you are as a woman, that when in doubt, you always can go back to it, right? For those of you, I know if you're here, you are up to playing a bigger game, right? You're stretching yourself outside your comfort zone, right? And our brain is going to have fire alarms go off in it to keep you safe, to want you to play smaller. But you're not here to play small. You're here to play big, because you're powerful, you're worthy, and you are so, like, as a unique woman, able to create such an impact in what you do in this world and the people that are in your lives. And so today we wanted to gift with you, as we are sort of wrapping up today, this I am statement. And so I created a template on Canva. So I'm just going to grab the link for you so that you could create this I am statement in Canva and then save it onto your phone, so that every time you look down your phone and you check your time, you are reminded of who you are. And so I know I have on my phone, I know Joanne, I believe Brandee and Mel, we all have, some way, shape, or form, our I am statement or our vision. I even have timers set up on my phone that go out multiple times a day, because the reality is, unfortunately, we have the negativity bias, which means 9 times out of 10, our brain is defaulting to the negative. And so we get to actively interrupt that negativity bias and get regrounded in who we truly are and the vision that we have and what we're up to creating. And so part of this is also, really looking at yourself in the mirror, declaring who you are and stating that you are that person that you are. So I know many people have various ways of doing this I am statement with, leader, or sometimes they put the role to position. But I felt today, because we are celebrating Women's Day and as a global sisterhood, is that if you can really embody being the woman, if you can really embrace more of the receiving and the love and the femininity that just naturally women tend to, because of society, function in this masculine energy and space, because that's just we've got the 24-hour clock, and we have, the corporate space, and we have society. It's an opportunity for us today to really embody and be that woman who's inside of us and who we truly are. So I'd like to take, allow you just a few minutes to go over to that Canva link and make a copy of it, and then be able to fill it out with what are some words that come to you, either going back to the poem that Johanne shared with you to get some inspiration, sharing some of the words and the gifts that you shared in that poem, or even just when you talk about your beauty and what you embody as yourself as that feminine woman. And we'll take a few minutes right now for you to complete that. And then we'll take a few shares when you guys are done. Are there any questions before you begin? What I would ask is, when you are complete, if you can write out your statement in the chat. Beautiful. So Frances, I'd love to invite you, when you think about that, what are some ways of being that you acknowledge yourself to be able to support you in being able to bounce back in those challenges? I'll start reading these as they come through. I'm a confident, connected, courageous woman. I'm an open, courageous, joyful woman. I'm a loving, relaxed, generous woman. I'm a loving, connected, compassionate woman. I'm a confident, luminous, and powerful woman. Yeah, that was a bit of a tongue twister. I'm a powerful, passionate, loving woman. Has everybody been able to put in the chat? All right, now I'm going to ask you all to come off mute. I know I'm going to stretch you guys. I want you to come off mute, and I want you to say your statement out loud. We'll all be talking the exact same time, so even if you're shy, we won't be able to hear you. Oh, thank you, Mary. I am a strong, powerful, kind, loving, sensitive, soft, receptive, and creative woman. Yes, you are, Mary. All right, so we'll all come off mute. I'll wait for everybody to come off mute. And then for those of you can, so I'll come off mute. Jen, Maya, I don't know if you guys can come off mute as well. And then the count of three, we'll all say our I am statement. So 1, 2, 3. I am a confident, connected, courageous woman.
Loving, sensitive, soft, receptive, and creative woman.
Right, one more time. I am a confident, connected, courageous woman.
Soft, receptive, and creative woman.
All right, one more time. I am a confident, connected,
loving,
courageous,
sensitive, soft, receptive, and creative woman.
Yes, you are. Every single one of you. Yes, you are. So you get to embody, you get to celebrate, you get to be the woman that you be, and be reminded that this phrase, this sentence, this statement is really there to support you in those times of, difficult times, in days that are going great, where you get to acknowledge yourself. When you wake up in the morning to look at yourself in the mirror and declare who you are, it's your way of really claiming in the ground, right? Putting the stake in the ground and saying, yes, this is who I am, so that you can activate your reticular activating system. So you can look for ways and enjoy life that aligns with that, so that you can also rewire your brain, right? Use the neuroplasticity to rewire the brain, because you do, unfortunately, in the subconscious, have a lot of thoughts and beliefs that don't serve who you are. And so you have the gift and the opportunity now to rewire some of that by making the claim, making the statement of who you truly be. And well, I know that my buddies know this, like this alone, this I am statement inspired me to write a children's book, because part of my journey, my work has been to work with women who burn out. I burned out myself. And when I started to look and study at the patterns, and again, what is causing so many women to burn out in today's society is because of those thoughts and beliefs of what's running on autopilot. It's because we don't have the I am statement. We don't have the beautiful poem. We don't look at ourselves and acknowledge ourselves for the gifts that we see in ourselves. We are so programmed by the things that don't serve us. And so my vision, my bigger vision, is that we raise our children, we raise our grandchildren who already embody the I am statements in themselves, that when they look at themselves in the mirror, they see the gifts of themselves, right? They don't have that negative default of going to what's wrong with them. No, we start to celebrate and acknowledge ourselves for who we be and the amazing women that we are. So I want to thank each of you for showing up today, because by saying yes to yourself today means that you're saying yes to acknowledging yourself and celebrating yourself for the amazing woman that you are and that you be. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone, for celebrating this day, this moment, yourselves, each other, all women around the world, all the women in your life. And let's pay this forward to other women. If there's something, one exercise today, share it with someone. Share it with your bestie, your sister, your mother, your daughter, your cousins. Share it. And I honor each one of you. If you can make a donation, any small donation would be appreciated towards a cause that is behind this day. Really in honor of all women to be free and safe, and children to be free and safe. Thank you for making a donation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, sharing vulnerably and sharing all your gifts with us here today.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.